Yeah, hi there. These comments are for SS. I'm using your initial for privacy purposes, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. So you are not sure, you like to practice a lot of speaking, right? But the very first thing I do in my course is a pronunciation pretest. Why is that? Think about this. There's 3 areas that you will be graded on when you do the TOEFL speaking section of the exam. One is delivery. What is that? That's pronunciation. Do you speak clearly? Do the human understand you without too much effort? The second thing is your language use. That means vocabulary and grammar. The third thing is your topic development. That means how you're organizing and developing your ideas, right? So for me, I need to figure out exactly what is bringing your score down, right? And that's why I do this pretest. So if you speak very clearly and you do a pretty good job on the pronunciation part of my course, that means you can skip this section. You don't need to worry about it. However, if I notice you have a lot of problems with your pronunciation, this you must deal with first. Because I don't care how organized you are or how good your grammar vocabulary is, if nobody can understand what you're saying, or they have a lot of trouble understanding what you're saying, you're not going to get a score higher than 26. And that is a fact. I have been working with students now for about 24 years. I have a lot of experience. A lot of students, if they improve their delivery, their TOEFL score skyrockets. It goes up very high. All right, so now let's take a look at the pretest and let's see how you did on this. So hopefully you can skip this section, but I'm telling you now, if your speaking score is around 20 or 21 points, most likely you will have a lot of problems in this area. So let's see if I am correct or not. Hopefully I am wrong. Okay, I'm downloading your practice test right now. It's a 4.9 megabyte file. I'm opening it up. All right, here we go.
Pretest for Sylvie Sanguine, Part A. Lesson 7. Pot boat, wrong grow, honor over, father thought.
Okay, give me a quick second. Hold on.
Pat pot, map mop, tack talk.
Yeah, come on in. You'll be in just a minute.
On, map
I sent you right. You can take a look at
Lesson
that.
9. Bright brown.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and listen to it one more time. Here we go.
Pot, mop, tack talk, on, mac mop. Lesson 9. Bright brown, broil lie, loud loyal.
Okay, I think in this one the OY, that OI, so where's that one? So broil, you have loyal, so those 2 vowel sounds there I think you can work on. So lesson number 9, I want you to focus on the OI. The OI. There's a lot of practice exercises in these pronunciation lessons. And you can also do speaking practice. How's that possible? At the end of each pronunciation video, you'll see a reading passage. And you can actually listen to it or read it, jot down some notes, and then practice summarizing that information. That'll give you some good practice for your integrated speaking. All right, let's keep going.
Lesson 10. Gate, get. Late, let. Mate, met. Blade, bled. Dane, din.
No, you're not making that long vowel sound quite long enough. So gate, get. Mate, met.
Lesson 11. Meet, meet. Pit, pit. Lip, lip. Sit, sit.
Big trouble, more trouble, trouble on the horizon here. So I think this one you have the E, I. Again, it's the long vowel sound. I'm already finding a pattern in your pronunciation. You need to make sure your long vowel sounds, you're pronouncing them long enough to differentiate them. So you'll say peat, pit, meet, mit.
Hit, hit. Lesson 12. look, look, luck, took, tool, through, could, cool.
Still the ooh. So look, look. You have luck, took. You have tool, tough. So again, the ooh, ooh, that sound you want to focus on in lesson number 12.
Lesson 13. Match, mash, chip, sheep, fissure, fissure, shift, shift, shear, shear.
Again, you're having trouble with the CH and the SH sound, right? Sometimes when it's in the initial position or the medial position. For example, feature, fisher. Cheap, sheep. So you can also work on lesson number 13.
List 14. Off, off, half, half, fine, vine, fan, van, wafer, waver.
I think with
Listen 15.
With the initial V sound, you want to focus on the V. So, fan, van, or fine, vine. So you need a little bit more vibration with the V, especially when it's in the beginning of the word.
Have, who, rehash, behavior, hate, Batman, beaten, important, brightening, hat-rack, threatened.
Okay, in this case, we have what's called the glottal stop. The glottal stop it's when the T's in the middle part of a word, and in American English we sometimes pronounce that more not as a T but as a glottal. It's like important, mountain, or hat rack, threatened. So you can probably work on that T, especially when it's in the middle. You can practice the glottal stop. Now the key is, if you don't use the glottal stop, native speakers can still understand what you're saying, but it definitely helps you to speak more naturally if you understand how to form that sound.
Lesson 6. Major, measure, fragile, frazzure, lesion, lesion, engine, azure. Large Asia.
Trouble. Again, you're having trouble with that palatal consonant in the middle. Major, measure. Legend, lesion. So you're having trouble with that second sound there. So that's lesson 16.
17. Cake, cake. Sink, sag. Came, game. Cap, gap. Lake, lag.
Good.
Lesson 18.
That was good.
Lean,
Perfect.
Rear, better. Luggage, rug, older.
Again, no, but
Bright,
not.
light, commit.
It's not luggage, but it's luggage. That's why you need to work on that lesson number 12 to get used to all the different U vowel sounds that we have in American English.
Lesson 19. Pace, base. Flap, flab. Cap, cab. Lap, lab. Pay, bay.
Now, what's interesting here, it's not, Sylvie, it's not just about pronouncing the P and the B, but it's also considering how these sounds may affect other vowels within the word. So let me give you two words. Flap, flab. Cap, cab. So when the B's at the end of the word, it's a voiced consonant, it tends to make the vowel before it a little bit longer. So that's why if I say these two words, lap, lab, I don't say them with the exact same duration. So you have to be careful about certain consonants when they occur at the end of the word. That'll affect what happens with the vowel before it. And if you get used to these things, it will, I promise you, improve your intelligibility, which improves your delivery, which improves your speaking score. How about that? Think about that for a minute.
20. Lies, lies. Sip, zip. Sue, zoo. Maze, maze. Elisa, Elisa. Listen 21.
Okay.
Multiple, Robert. Example.
It's more multiple. Not multiple, but multiple.
Principle, number. People, philosopher.
Okay, when the word ends in LE, you're having some word stress issues. So when you practice Lesson 21, focus a lot on word stress and understanding where to put the stress when you have a word that ends in LE.
Lesson 22, volcanism written, maximum question, summer reason, chasm often.
Good.
Lesson 23, tip dip, cart card, tight tide, train drain, fat fad, team dream.
Again, let me show you the difference. You're saying fat fad. I'm saying fat fad or cart card. So the principle that I explained to you in lesson 19 also applies to lesson 23. Is the D, a voice consonant, affects the vowel which comes before it by making it slightly longer. All right, let's keep going.
24, tight thigh, breath breathe.
No, it's thigh, thy, not tie. The TH. The TH is an interdental consonant, which means you have to put your tongue in between your teeth and then you force the air out to make the sound. It's kind of like this. Thigh, thy. Now the TH in both cases, you're forming it the same way, but when I go thy, I'm vibrating my vocal folds when I produce that sound. So that's the key difference between those two.
Tis, tis, through, thoof, worse, worsty. Part B.
A lot of trouble with that. So what do I know? I can tell you right now, as God is my witness, as the sun comes up tomorrow, you must improve your delivery if you want to improve your TOEFL score. And I'm telling you here, what do we have here? Here are the lessons you're having the most trouble with. Lesson 9, 10, lesson 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 19, 21, 23, and lesson 24. So what do? How about step number 1? When you look at your computer, make sure everything is in English, first of all. You need to get used to seeing, hearing English, reading English. That's your first step. Step 2 is make sure you're watching movies every week. You're watching the news, radio, TV, all of these things. Really work on your exposure. But the most important thing is to speak English. You need to speak a lot of English, and eventually this helps you to improve your pronunciation. So that's going to help you a lot. All right, so let's keep going. So now in part B, you're actually answering, it looks like, 3 questions. What's your educational background, your work history? Why is it important for you to improve your speaking and pronunciation of American English? And what do you hope to achieve in this course? So this is important for me. I like you to answer these Part B questions because it not only tells me more about your pronunciation, but it shows me what type of fluency you have with your English. It shows me what kind of vocabulary words you can use, the type of grammar structures you're comfortable with, and all of those things. So now I'm going to get information in 3 areas from Part B. I'll understand about your delivery, I'll get some good information about your language use, and finally I'll learn more about your topic development. And that also helps me see what your strengths and weaknesses are as a speaker of American English. Okay, let's keep going. Here we go.
I'm Win. I come from France, and I was graduated as a physical therapist in France in 2001.
Notice you said I was graduated in 2001. That's telling me you have language use issues. Why? Because you don't need passive voice there. You say I graduated in 2001 or whatever. Not I was graduated in. I would just say graduate there, active voice, not passive voice. So that's another issue that's going to cause you trouble with speaking. Notice the word 2000. You're saying 2000, but it's 2000. 2000.
I worked as a physical therapist in my home country, and
no, it's more not. It's physical therapist.
Now in the US, I work as a child care supervisor in a YMCA close to Seattle. It's important.
Yeah, so you're in Seattle. The good thing is, I'm going to be honest with you, French people who speak English typically speak terrible English with terrible pronunciation. Usually, they really do. Of course, the people, English speakers who speak French, is probably even worse when they're speaking French. But for you, you're actually, for some French speakers who speak English, you're doing better than a lot of them. So I don't want you to have a heart attack here. Because some French speakers who speak English, they have a lot of trouble. And you're not, I mean, obviously you have trouble, but not as much trouble as I've encountered with other French people who speak English.
For me to improve my speaking and my pronunciation.
All right.
Because I need a high score. I need 26 over 30 at the TOEFL IBT test. I hope to achieve my goal with this course. I already attended the TOEFL test 2 weeks ago.
I'll say I already attended the TOEFL test 2 weeks ago. So you need to use the ED there, the past tense, because you're talking about an action that occurred in the past. Now that's the second language use issue that I've picked up, and I've only been listening to about 60 seconds of your speaking. So you're having some trouble with your verb tenses, right? Either using active or passive voice, or do you need to have present or past tense?
I got an overall score of 99, but only 20 as the speaking section. Thanks for helping me.
All right, so you got 99. I mean, who's going to complain about that? Nobody. That's a great score, right? However, you only got 20 points on the speaking section. So for you, your whole life right now revolves around English, right? Do everything you can to get as much exposure to the language. Now, during the next 30 days, you're using my course and my feedback to help you improve your speaking. I'm telling you though, it's not just about speaking for you. It's about language use. It's about delivery. You must solve your grammatical problems. You must solve your delivery problems. If you can solve those two areas, it will really, really help you to improve your speaking score. Now, to be honest with you, it'll probably take you more than 30 days to solve these problems. These problems are very severe. You're trying to improve your TOEFL speaking from 20 to 26. It takes about 45 to 50 hours to improve your speaking score 1 point. What does that tell you? Let's say 50 times, that's 300 hours. That's how much practice you have to make the improvements that you need. So remember, if you focus in the wrong areas, you will continue to make the same mistakes. I'm telling you now, you need a lot of pronunciation practice. You also need a lot of grammatical practice or grammar practice. So focus a lot in those two areas of my course. All right? And thank you for joining my TOEFL Speaking Bootcamp course.